A small bar of soap, smooth, clean, perfect. But inside it is an entire system transforming matter. Heat, pressure, chemistry, and machines that never stop moving. This is where everything begins, a factory running almost non-stop. Here, materials are not simply processed. It is completely transformed. Before entering the main production line, everything must be cleaned. The receiving area operates separately, keeping the production line controlled and stable. Water begins covering the thick wool. The spray system works from multiple directions at once. Every trace of dirt and contamination must disappear. Every trace of dirt and contamination must disappear. In modern manufacturing, cleanliness depends on the system. The animal section is separated from the main production line. The factory only receives prepared fat materials. And from here, the rendering process begins. The first blocks of fat appear as raw material. Soft, heavy, still holding their original natural structure. But that is about to change. Each piece of material is visually inspected. Anything below standard is removed immediately. Because even small impurities can affect an entire production batch. Stainless steel blades begin cutting through the soft fat. The freshly cut surface looks smooth and uniform. From this point, automation takes over. The material enters a multi-stage washing system. High-pressure water flows continuously across the surface. The lower water stream carries waste out of the system, while the cleaned material continues moving above. This is the last moment. The material still keeps its original form. Before it can be melted efficiently, the material must be evenly reduced in size. Heat always moves more efficiently through smaller pieces. The dosing system begins separating the material into portions.
When solid material transforms into liquid tallow.
Everything must be nearly identical in size. The blades spin at extremely high speed. Large blocks of fat become thousands of smaller particles. The surface area increases dramatically. That makes the rendering process far more stable. The small fat particles begin falling into stainless steel containers. Layer after layer of material. From raw fat They are slowly becoming industrial material. When the container is full, automation takes over. No lifting by hand, no direct contact. The stainless steel container moves through the clean corridor. Ahead is the rendering area, Idor. Where the material's structure will be completely transformed. This is the thermal core of the entire production line. Everything here operates in a sealed environment. Temperature and pressure are continuously controlled. Each batch of material is loaded into the rendering vessel. Every measurement must be precise. The soft fat begins sliding down the stainless steel hopper. It is still solid, but not for much longer. When the vessel seals shut, outside air is completely isolated. From this point on, the system controls everything. One small button activates the entire process. Hot steam begins flowing around the vessel. Heat slowly transfers into every layer of material. The solid structure begins to soften. The internal bonds slowly begin breaking apart.
Tallow is no longer raw fat. It has become a clean ingredient ready for soap production.
And for the first time, liquid tallow appears. A pale golden liquid begins flowing to the bottom of the vessel. This is no longer raw fat. It is becoming an entirely new material. Steam lightly condenses on the cool stainless steel surface. While inside, the transformation continues. The entire rendering system operates almost automatically. Humans only monitor the process remotely. Once the proper temperature is reached, the tallow begins flowing out. The first liquid stream passes through a coarse filtration system. Larger particles are trapped behind the filter. The cleaner liquid continues moving forward. Tallow flows continuously through transparent pipes. Like a completely new material has just been born. But it still is not clean enough to use. First, everything heavier must be separated. Inside the settling tank, materials separate by density. Clean tallow rises to the top. Water and heavier residue sink below. The bottom valve opens slowly.
This is the core reaction. Tallow and alkali transform into the soap base.
The unwanted material begins leaving the system. Every stage must be constantly monitored. Even a small mistake can affect the entire batch. After settling, the tallow moves into the refining stage. This is where color and stability are improved. A small amount of processing aid is added to the tallow. The large mixing blades begin rotating slowly. Keeping the entire liquid mass uniform. Then the tallow moves through a pressure filtration system. Microscopic particles are trapped behind fine filters. The tallow begins looking brighter and more uniform. But the color still has not reached its final standard. The tallow continues into the bleaching system. Adsorbent material is introduced into the moving liquid. It begins pulling color-causing compounds out of the fat. Inside the processing tank, millions of molecules are changing. The mixing system runs continuously to stabilize the process. After treatment, all adsorbent material must be removed. The tallow passes through the final filtration stage. The liquid flowing out
From
now
this
appears
point, the
significantly
soap
clearer.
begins to change its form once again.
Uniform, stable, and far cleaner than before. But one final step still remains. Vacuum deodorization. The massive stainless steel tower begins operating. Steam moves through the tallow under low pressure conditions. Odor-causing compounds are slowly removed from the system. Temperature and pressure must remain extremely stable, because even a small deviation can ruin the material. After every stage of treatment, the tallow finally meets specification. It is pumped into a clean storage tank. From this point on, every valve and pipe is sealed. This is no longer raw fat. It has become soap-making material. But before moving forward, everything must be tested. Tallow samples are moved into the testing laboratory. Each production batch is tested separately.
The factory transforms an invisible mixture into a real, tangible object.
Acidity, moisture, clarity. Every parameter must stay within exact limits. Even a slight variation can reject an entire batch. Only after passing inspection can the tallow continue forward. The tallow now enters the formulation area. Beside it are purified water and alkaline solution. This is where the most important reaction is about to happen. Purified water is fed into the mixing tank. Sodium hydroxide begins entering the sealed system. When dissolved into water, the temperature rises rapidly. The cooling system activates immediately because this reaction generates intense heat. Every operation is controlled remotely. And now, the real soap-making process begins.